Kia ora team, George here from Touch NZ. Now we all enjoy a bit of touch, but without a proper warm-up, the chances of being injured are massively increased. So to keep you on the field and out of the emergency room, Touch NZ have made a short and easy warm-up series for all levels, proven to lower the chance of injury by close to 50%. So head on over to our site and check them out. Play safe, play smart.
The British Medical Journal in 2008 found that teams that warmed up at least twice a week had 37% fewer training injuries and 29% fewer game injuries.
ACC and Touch New Zealand are doing a really great initiative here with the warm-up initiative that they've put through. It's going to keep you on the field, it's going to keep you active, it's going to prevent you from having those horrible back pains and injuries, so you can do the things that you love.
The Touch Fit 360 warm-up is for all levels. Whether you're a beginner or an athlete, the formula for injury prevention is the same.
Finding it really useful to go through the warm-up before each game. It's preventing injuries, and it's definitely giving me more energy.
There's been studies showing that these warm-ups can help reduce injuries, severe injuries by 50%, which is a massive number, and it's important that we look after our health, look after ourselves, so that we can continue to play the sports that we love.
Definitely vouch for the benefits of doing a warm-up. I haven't been injured so far this season. I'm feeling really primed and ready to go when the game starts, and I think I'm just enjoying playing touch a lot more than I probably would without warming up.
The advantage of the Touch Fit 360 warm-up is that you don't need any equipment or specialist knowledge. It's a complete warm-up program for different levels. Head on over to our site and check it out.
So this one is the bench static. It's a great exercise for warming up the core during your activity. So what you want to do, flat on the ground, you want to dig your toes in, get your elbows under your shoulders, and you want to raise your torso. Something important here is you don't want to pull your head back, you don't want to raise your bum, and you want to keep your nice straight line through the body. And at the beginner level, we do this for 20 to 30 seconds.
So this exercise is called the sideways bench static. So you start by lying on your side, with your lower leg bent to 90 degrees, and your forearm directly under your shoulder, and your upper leg in line with your upper shoulder. So you lift yourself up and hold this position for about 20 to 30 seconds with your supporting arm directly under your shoulder. And then take a rest and flip around and go down the other side 2 to 3 times. So this is the hamstring warm-up to help strengthen your thighs and avoid injury. So this one you'll need a partner. So you start by kneeling on a soft surface with your knees hip width apart, and your partner kneels down behind you, placing both hands on your lower leg and pushing them into the ground. With this one, you want to keep your head and your whole body down to your knees in a straight line and your arms across your chest. The aim is to lower yourself to the ground and hold it for as long as you can until you can't and you fall into a push-up position. You're going to do this about 3 to 5 times.
So this is the single leg stance, holding the ball. So it's important to keep when you're forward facing that your hip, knee and leg remain straight, slight bend in your supporting foot, the weight in the ball of your foot. That way, when you're forward facing, you remain stable, and when the ball's moving, you're forward facing.
And we'll swap over onto the other leg. Go.
I'm going to do a squat with toe raise at the end. So what you want to do is you want to start with your feet hip width apart, hands on hips, and then with keeping a straight back, You want to bend your knees, your hips and your ankles at the same time. Slowly lowering your body down.
And welcome back to Rotorua International Stadium for the 2018 Trans-Tasman Test Series. This is Game 2, and it is the women. One of the beauts. Before we had a fantastic match for Game 1 in the Open Series, a very close game with Australia finishing out 8-7. And this promises to be a fantastic encounter here. I'd like to introduce our commentary team. Touch legend Peter Walters. We've also got Maya Williams here, referee of New Zealand, and a special guest here, Mr. Statsman Mike Daly. Tēnā koutou.
Kia ora iho.
Tēnā koe hoa.
We're just coming to the end of the Australian National Anthem. And because we are streamed as well, don't forget you can leave a comment on the Facebook feed. We are Facebook Live. And we'll also read out your messages as well. And don't forget, this test series goes for the next couple of days as well, rounding out on Sunday. So if you are in the Rotorua area, then do check it out. Time for the New Zealand National Anthem. And there we have it, the respective anthems of both countries, Australia and New Zealand. Let's take a look at the teams now for the Open Women's Trans-Tasman. This is game number 1. Remember, it's the best of 3 series. Look at Australia. Key players there for you there, Pete?
Yeah, look, I see there's at least 3 of the Manly girls in there. Danny Davis and Sammy Rogers. They're very strong there, and they're comp back in Australia. Obviously, Mariki Wadago, she's had a few tests for Australia, played in the last World Cup. So looking across the board, Captain Jess McCall, Kim Sue See, some really good campaigners that have done well for Australia in the past. A strong team.
And of course, special guest Mike Daly. Let's take a look at the New Zealand side. Who are you picking? Who are the players to watch there, mate?
Kia ora Eru. Looking at the team list, I think Captain Dinah Turnbull, she's the one that's got to lead from the front, I believe. Probably a couple of others that we should be mindful of is Ora Williams, local girl from Rotorua, and also Jessica Ma, who I believe plays her touch football in Auckland.
And of course, a game can't be a game without our referees adjudicating the match there, Maya Williams.
Yeah, another great trio of referees led by Brett Freshwater from Australia, Logan Forrester from New Zealand, and it's great to have Tim Lucas back. I think the last time Tim Lucas refereed at the international level was back in 2001 at Hamilton at the Trans-Tasman Series there. Tim, fantastic referee. When I very first started, he was my group leader, and he was in the top 3 in New Zealand. And the sad thing is I look very different from back then, but he looks exactly the same. So one of us has been in a good paddock and one of us has been running around the paddock.
The New Zealand team there gathered around there, of course, with coach Liana Fox, Te Haere Fox. Bit of an interesting case here earlier on in the week. Of course, assistant coach Jean Marsh. Now, she's actually been brought into the squad in the number 3 shirt. Of course, there was an injury to Mahina Paul. But as you do, you do have 2 players that are sitting out. And, of course, it's logical that your assistant coach will be sitting this match out there, Pete.
Yes, I mean, injuries happen all the time. I mean, we just looked at the Commonwealth Sevens with all those touch girls that were playing there, and Tyler Nathan Wong. Same things. It's high-level elite sport, and you just got to deal with them. I do like the look of this New Zealand team. They've got some young talent in there. They've got some old heads in there. And let's see how they start.
Now, Mike, earlier before, in game number 1, we were talking about this before, 1986, right? It's the last time... Well, according to a little message that came from you, that the Aussie team were here. Can you just fill us in a little bit on that before the game kicks off?
Yeah, the Australians have been in Rotorua on a number of occasions. The first time they arrived here to the Sulphur City was way back in 1986, where they played the Bay of Plenty provincial teams before heading to Auckland to play the New Zealand teams in the first ever Trans-Tasman Touch Series at Oneward Domain on New Zealand soil. They've since returned to the city in 1998, where they played Bay of Plenty as well. And in 2001, they played 2 games here on a Tuesday and a Wednesday night before heading across to Hamilton to take on New Zealand in the Trans-Tasman that particular year. And this is the first time they've actually come to the Rotorua Stadium to play a test series against New Zealand. So it's the fourth visit for the Australians to the city.
Now, of course, the New Zealand side, coached by Liana Fox, they had a bit of a camp in Christchurch and played some of the secondary schools. A bit of a good hit out. Quite a young side here for New Zealand. But, of course, there's nothing quite like playing any international game, especially Australia. I guess, Pete, coming back to you, how special was it for you as a New Zealand representative?
Oh, yeah, look, I've been around a long time, and it was great. It was great in the Opens. I really enjoyed my time in the Opens. And these young girls here, they'll be looking to cut their teeth against Australia. For some of them, it may be their first time. Many of them have come through the youth system, so now they finally get themselves on show in the big time. I mean, this Australian team, the history of this women's team is bigger than any other team in the world. They're open men's, they're open mixed. They do not have the record that this Australian Open women's have. They're the most winningest team in the history of the sport.
As we see the New Zealand trio there of Michaela Moore, Dinah Turnbull, and of course number 1 Olivia O'Neill. They'll be very pumped, they'll be very excited. Caught them at Nationals earlier this year, and man, they are looking good. One particular player that I'm excited about, had the privilege of seeing her in the national final between counties Manukau and Waikato, and it is Taya Antonovich. Tell us more about her there, Pete.
Yeah, Taya, I know the family, and she spent most of her life being brought up in Australia and Sydney. Then they moved to Perth for a number of years. I think she moved back about 2 years ago, and I hear her mum's just recently moved back as well. Look, yeah, she's a great player. She comes from that upbringing of playing in the Aussie system, so knows how to grind, knows how to work hard, knows how to communicate. She'll be an asset to this team. Michaela
Moore with possession of the ball, ready to get things underway for New Zealand. Of course, the time of the familiar music there, just playing down, playing its bit. As we get ready for game number 2, it is the Open Women's here at the 2018 Trans-Tasman Test Series. Oh, what a cracker it's been. We've been looking forward to this for a long time. Back here in Aotearoa, of course, it was hosted in Australia last year. And man, oh man, the quality of touch that we're about to see over the next few days. And don't forget as well, if you're in the Rotorua area, you can get down to these games. Come watch some fantastic touch as New Zealand get underway now. Moore shifts it to the left. Moore playing up the middle now as there's our young girl, Antonovich. New Zealand, though, will be looking for a strong start here. Composure, as was said in game number 1, composure is the key. As it's shifted into the mids now for the dive, it's Dinah Turnbull. Touch called, turnover. Australia now, first opportunity with the pill. Quick play of the ball there.
Yeah, interesting in that first set, Australia going to the far side where the New Zealand sub-box is before they bring it back to their box. More teams are looking to do that nowadays, where they shift away from their box initially and then they head back towards there. It just keeps the defensive systems working hard, knowing that you're not going to go straight to your box.
So far, the first 2 minutes there, Mike, what's impressed you so far in this match earlier on?
It's still relatively young in the game there, Eddie, so I'd like to see how New Zealand flow through the field. If they can get the ball to the box, get some fresh players on, run their set, and if they get an opportunity to have an attack at the line at the end of their set, that'll be an encouraging start for the team.
As New Zealand now looked across the halfway line, getting into enemy territory. Some fantastic play here from both sides, actually. There's number 12, Phoebe Steele. Steele now with the pill. It's a pass intercepted. Australia will have the pill. You see on the replay there, the idea was on. Unfortunately, the execution wasn't there. And Australia now have possession as we look now. Pitching over to the sub-box. Some more fresh legs on. Number 5, Danielle Davis for Australia now. Look to see her inject some of that energy into this Australian women's side.
What you'll find with this Australian women's team is that they shift the ball. They throw more passes than their opponents generally, so they like moving the ball, which means they all need to be running. They play a great style of touch.
New Zealand now with possession. It's Steele. No, turned over to Australia. Look to drag her link out there. Is Sam Rogers now in possession. Realigning the troops. Back into the middle. It's a Hayley Maddock. Maddock dumps. Kim Soo-see. It's a cutting off pass.
Bodies in motion there, Australia. Working off a 32 dump, throwing, running an out ball, and everyone running lanes. Good touchdown to kick off for them.
As you'll see on the replay there, you'll see that nice long cut-out pass from Kim Soo-see. She's number 15 there. Here she has possession. Nice. And down there is number 4, Madison Crowe. It's New Zealand reset now. How well can the New Zealand women's team bounce back after that fantastic try there by Australia? Is New Zealand now showing some promise, showing some good energy there.
Yeah, running the same platform for that tap-off play and looking at a different option to attack there, but certainly Australia up to the task.
Australia will regain possession once again.
Our girls have got to make sure that they run their sets of 6 once they attack the line, once they get up there, and back that up with solid defence as the Australians come through the field.
The mistake there by Kim Soo-see, number 15, but that's a penalty. New Zealand penalised there. Perhaps Australia are off the hook. It's Australia tap now. It's number 16, Ashley Carney.
You'll see the Australian girls always looking to drag the defender to the side, shifting them sideways, then attacking back the other way.
It's Hannah Diebold now. Number 9, Shelley Davis. Davis and Tamika Upton. Upton goes down. It's up to Davis. Davis out wide. And in the corner, Australia 2-0 up there.
Yeah, Tamika Upton, one of their key attackers. She's just quite happy to just pass off and strike dump and let other people get involved. I'm guessing that'll be a tactic of theirs and hold her back for later on when she's really needed.
New Zealand now with possession. Enemy territory. Good yards there by Order Williams. Williams now to Bowen. It's a pass to Williams. Out wide. Touch called.
That was a good play by New Zealand. Nice sweep plays going back the other side. That's much better play.
Williams to Davis to Williams. Checking that pass. There's Davis there. Handing over possession. Australia will have the pill once again.
Let's see how our women's defence is through the field. If they can shut down the Australians, let them run their set of 6 so they don't have a play on the line. Turn it over to us and hopefully we can ruck back down to the field and have a play on our own line.
Good yardage up the middle there from Australia. Susie out wide. Ball down. New Zealand will regain possession.
The speed of this Australian women's team is really impressive. They utilise that. They certainly use the speed that they have.
Here goes Williams. Williams takes the pull. There's number 2, Jade Bowen for New Zealand now. Just trying to get some fresh legs on over at the sub box. Back in the middle now. There's England, Cassandra England, number 13. Lovely check of the ball. Some good yardage. Great touch there by Kim Susie, number 15 of Australia.
Yeah, New Zealand needed a better finish than that. We need to strike off our 5th and final strike dumps. We can't run a static play. You've got more chance of scoring if you're running.
Australia now with Susie playing at some blistering speed. Now on the half of New Zealand is Australia. Look to reset. That's number 9, Shelley Davis. Davis goes down. Nice set. Out wide. Ball down. Back to New Zealand.
When Australia were coming off their line, if they get beyond halfway in the 3 touches, that means their 4th and 5th strike dumps will be more effective because the players coming on are running more direct. If you don't get to halfway within your 3 touches, that means your subs are coming from behind the play and not as direct. Like you look at New Zealand here, the subs can't come off until the players go on, so they're coming more lateral as opposed to direct.
Don't forget as well, we're on Facebook and you can post up any of the questions because what other opportunity do you get to be able to put the questions forward, especially to some of our touch experts? This came through on Facebook from Carl Tepania. For you there, Mr. Walters. Pete, why can't our teams play with this kind of structure? And of course, that was referencing the Aussie play. So leave it up to you, Ehor, to answer that.
Well, if he's talking about this game here in particular, I'd have to say the Aussies do look more dominant in terms of speed and what they're doing and their systems, and that whether it's fly defence when the other team's coming off the line, whether it's yardage, yes, they look more polished than the New Zealand team.
New Zealand on the far side now at the sub box, keen to get some fresh legs on and just hang in there. Nice scoop.
I think to be fair too, like the New Zealand coaches will have some form of structure put in place, but that could go astray if the defence is coming forward to the attackers at any one point during the game. And at the moment, I think our girls are just struggling a bit with the flow through the field.
Actually, so a bit of a scary prospect, actually, but some of our young ones that are coming through have moved over to Australia, Māori, Pacific Island, with that natural flair, are also learning this Aussie structure. Could probably name a couple of players that are currently playing for the Aussie, but that are Māori. That is a scary prospect when you think about the flair and the structure all in one.
I agree, and even going back to Carl, was it Carl's comment there? I mean, they have way higher level competitions than us, and they play all year round. So, I mean, they're always going to have it over us, and these girls are finding that out now because a lot of these kids in the New Zealand team would not have played at this intensity ever, and now they're up against it. So let's see how they adjust with it through the course of this game and over the course of the series. I mean, Liana will have things in place how to, what to talk to them about, and but you can't beat facing it yourself. When you face this live, then there's some great learnings to be had.
There was a better set of 6 from our girls too. They ran their set out. They had a pick from half to at least attack the line. So they ran the numbers as far as the touches were concerned, and they got down the other end. Now they need to back that up with defence.
There's Australia now stepping to the half of New Zealand. There's number 12 there, Catherine Sargent. Gets the ball over to Shelley Davis. Davis checks it. Straight up the middle is Australia. Number 4 there, Madison Crowe. No relation to Russell. Ball down. perhaps is a relation with that ball going down as New Zealand regain possession.
Yes, those extra check-off passes late in the count on 4 and 5, if you can get away with those, that means you're going to get in behind the point defender, which will give you more attacking options off the strike dump because everyone will then be offside. But if you're dumping on a high point, you'll have less chance of success off that last strike dump. Strike dump meaning you're going to strike off the last dump.
Bit of a mistake there from number 4, Dana Turnbull, as Australia regather possession now. Taking it up past halfway, aggressive touch there on number 3, Hannah Dyball. Australia with possession. That's Upton, who'd pass that kind of ball. It's number 8, Lizzie Campbell.
Gee, that's good defence by New Zealand. We'll put the heat on the Australians and they've turned it over again. I think our girls will be happy with that. The coaches should be happy with that.
2-0 here in game number 2 of the 2018 Trans-Tasman Test Series with just under 8 minutes to go there on the clock here at Rotorua International Stadium as New Zealand roll the subs, taking it up the middle. Fantastic substitution there as number 15, Order Williams. Ball down, Australian ball.
I had the privilege of coaching the Thames Valley team earlier this year, and Order Williams was in that team. And one thing I noticed about her then is what I'm also seeing tonight is her energy. She just plays at 100%, and she's go, go, go. And while she may be relatively new to the team, I really think that she'd be someone that the team will get behind here tonight, and she'll lead from the front.
He's Australia now. You get the sense they're sniffing out another try, but New Zealand holding on. Great defence on the far side. Turnover ball to New Zealand.
Excellent defence from the New Zealanders in that set. Let's see them get down. It's only 2-0 to the Australians with 7 minutes to go. If they can put on a try here, that'll keep things interesting leading up to the end of the first half.
Yes, New Zealand's really picked up this last 5 minutes. It's like they've found their feet. They've adjusted to the speed of the Australians. They're going well now.
Here's the Kiwis now up the middle there. That's number 12, Phoebe Steele. Steele and Johnston. Steele check the ball. Steele has it. Just looking to settle things now. Is not some nice work there from Colosi.
Yeah, Jamie Colossi, she's a young girl. I don't know if she's still at St. Kitts, but she was there last year. I think she may still be at school, so she's a very promising young talent for New Zealand.
Here come Australia now, striking back already at halfway now. That's Mariki Watago. So pass comes out to the wing now. It's Sargent. Very drilled there is Sargent.
It's been a great start from the referees this game. We've been going 14 minutes. I think there's been one penalty to the best of my knowledge in this game, and the game's been going from end to end. So there's been a really good start, a really consistent approach from them all in terms of the 5-metre distance they're requiring the players to get back. And the teamwork's also been really good. We've had a couple of decisions out on the sidelines where that sideline referee's been in the right spot and helped out. So really good start, really aiding the game in terms of making it the spectacle that it is.
Great chance for New Zealand there to get some fresh legs on and really, really attack that line. It's number 4, Dana Turnbull. Kind of pleading with the referee for a recount, but Australia have it.
Yeah, Dana's certainly one of New Zealand's strike weapons. She looks to go out of half, and she's very good at it.
Here's Australia now back on the attack. Bit of a sloppy play there. It's Davis on the halfway line. Davis plays the ball. Takes it up. Here's Australia now on the counter attack. It's Upton. Upton with that flick. Australia work it.
Yeah, some great interplay there. Catch and pass, drawing, engaging defenders, and the support play of the Australians. Good touchdown there, Australia.
Tamika Upton. Watch this pass here. Behind the back. Check back in. And try scorer there was number 8, Lizzie Campbell. Fantastic work there by Australia. 3-0 now to Australia in the second match of the Trans-Tasman Test Series. Here we are as the lights are taking full effect here at Rotorua International Stadium. We're talking about this before, and not a lot of people get the chance to play under lights. In your experiences, Pete, much of a difference under lights?
Well, yeah, it can be if you've not played under there before. But I'd say once the players get engaged in the game, then it's not a huge focus.
And how much of a factor is dew as well?
Yeah, I'm expecting there may be dew in the next game, but it shouldn't be too bad underfoot. It looks great underfoot at the moment.
Australia now have possession with Campbell looking to just settle things, bringing things over to the sub box, getting some fresh legs on. Although at the rate that Australia are playing, you'd think they probably wouldn't need the subs as Australia now get into New Zealand's half. There's number 15, Kim Susi, plays the ball. Here come Australia.
Yeah, good shutdown defence there, New Zealand. Forcing her to throw a long left to right over the top.
And if the Australians want to do that, they've got to be accurate with their skills. So it's good defence by New Zealand.
Here come the New Zealanders now. It's Moore. Touch called from Moore. Davis plays the ball. Here's Lee. To Steele. Steele back inside to Johnston there. So working it around there. There goes Steele. Ball down. Australian ball.
Both teams are guilty of some skill there with in regards to errors. So they just need to pick their skills up so there's not too many drop balls. Just a couple of drop balls in the last couple of sets.
Susi now on the halfway line plays that ball to Maruki Watago. Watago checks left. Watago in possession. Here come the Australians again. That's Davis. Davis Starpton. Another one of those flick passes. And in the corner, number 1, Maruki Watago. Fantastic try there.
2 minutes to go till the half's out, and the Australians have just put another one on. Unlucky slip there by number 14 for New Zealand. Perhaps if she kept her feet, she could have made a contribution towards making the touch on that attacker. Unfortunately, they went through the hands, scored in the corner of the Australian.
Here go the Kiwis again there. Back on attack. There's Antonovic. Just looking to settle things down there. It's Antonovic working with Turnbull. Turnbull scoops. Looks to dance around the Aussies.
Yeah, Dana Turnbull really working the Aussie defence there. You look at the systems the Aussies are running here on line defence, so they're getting a point up, and sometimes it'll be a link on a 32 ruck, so link touching a middle. You also look at their retreat lines and the open side, so the toucher will pull a short side and all the open side will be up and in hitting. So their only option there is to throw long over the top. So it's a great defensive structure.
Here come New Zealand. Touch called.
That was well done.
Oh.
Possibly an offside call there. So well done, New Zealand.
Fantastic try there, New Zealand strike. They're on the board. I was perhaps in the same waka as you there, Pete. As we see on the replay there, Antonovic working it nicely there with Turnbull, who puts in number 11, Michaela Moore. And without playing a pun, would like to see more of those for New Zealand to get up over Australia as Aussie now reset.
It'll be a nice confidence booster for the girls going into the half.
Yeah, a great sweep play, catching the girl offside, and that's always a chance when you're wrapping like that and the touch is going back, that they don't get to the line and back onside, so you get a play through, touchdown.
Here's England to Bowen now. Bowen checks it out. He's our girl again, Order Williams. She's had a very good game, despite the fact their team at times have gone backwards. Order hasn't taken a back step in this game. I'm very impressed with her.
New Zealand's been starting to throw the ball more passes a little bit more and making benefit out of it, so hopefully they keep that up and push with it in the second half.
Half-time here in game number 2 of the 2018 Trans-Tasman Series. It is 4-1. Of course, the board here at Rotorua International Stadium must be on the wharepaku or something because it's got it at 0, but I can reassure you it is 4-1 to Australia. Can New Zealand bounce back in the second half there? As we see the Kiwis just perhaps wanting to play the game at their own pace. Australia, though, on the other hand, from the get-go, they've just been well, all speed.
Yes, well, Australia shot out to 2-0 and New Zealand was getting used to their pace and skill. And once they did that, they started to do some good things, New Zealand. Hopefully they'll keep it going in the second half.
You see on the screen there, Coach Swain Ravelli, no doubt will be racking his troops up. Although despite the score being 4-1, perhaps treating it as a 0-0 score in second half as we see this replay. This was a fantastic try set up there. Talk us through it there, Matt.
You see the Australians throw a ball out, picks the runner straight into the hole, and then the number 13 defender for New Zealand can't recover in time to even make a touch on the Australian attacker. There's a flick ball there.
Perhaps one of my favourite ones.
Hole. Number 11 checks it again. Great support from number 8.
Lizzie Campbell there touching down for the Australians. You get the sense there. It was standard routine. Like they're having a bit of a try. This was try number 3. And we saw there.
Yeah, the Australian work off the ball is really impressive. They stay alive, whether they've passed the ball or not, whether they're out in the open side, the short side. They just stay alive and always looking to support the ball carrier.
And then the Kiwis got back up just before half-time there through number 11, Michaela Moore. Fantastic work there done by Moore and also Steele as well.
Yeah, I think she caught the Australian number 3 dive ball just with inside the 5. Had a go on her, got in low, was able to get the ball down before the defender could make a touch on her.
We've got some more comments on Facebook here. Don't forget, we are Facebook Live. Perhaps this will make Pete crack up a little bit here. This is from Paul Fitinui. Paul Fitinui says, Pete is so technically sound, reminds me of a computer. That comment came in from Paul there, Pete. Pete is so technically sound, reminds me of a computer. Can you put on a computer voice?
Hey, listen, I just going back to our New Zealand women's team, like we're proud of these kids, and a lot of them have come through the youth system, and they're doing really well. I'm really impressed. They've got better in the second half. I want to see them carry on with it. I saw Leanna, the coach, giving them some good feedback. She was, she's giving all that feedback and getting it out there. So let's see what they produce in the second half. It'll be so great for them to build on this first half.
Yeah, and just on the back of that, Pete, to have some perspective, it's 4-1, and Australia being dominant in the first half. But in terms of Trans-Tasman Test caps, 4 players in the Australian team have played more Trans-Tasmans than the whole of the New Zealand team. And this wouldn't, by any stretch of the imagination, this Australian team wouldn't be called experienced. So Australia got 110 Test caps in their team, and while New Zealand had 44. So big learning curve, huge difference in experience. But yeah, I think the Kiwis can really get up here.
Second half starts now as Australia have possession. This is going to be an interesting second half. Can the Kiwis bounce back, or will Australia lift it up a gear? Obviously first with the possession now. Nice cut-out ball there from Crow.
Great way to start the second half for Australia. Running a set play, a long ball over the top. Touchdown in the corner.
We see on the replay here, Ed Crow with the plant, getting ready, getting in position, and just watch this cut-out ball pass. Fantastic, precise, nice hands there for number 11, Sam Rogers here in the corner for Australia as New Zealand now back inside the Australian half. Need to score here. Perhaps if this isn't the opportunity, then maybe the next one as well, and that's a penalty there to New Zealand.
Back to one. Be nice to see them set something up here, Edu.
Here come New Zealand now. Touch called.
Jess Ma trying a quickie play.
Here come New Zealand on the 5. Another quickie. This time Australian defence right up to the task as well.
You see with those quickie plays, there's generally 2 options when you make that touch. You tuck in or you kick out. She was tucking in on that occasion.
Nice ball in the corner.
Fantastic play, left to right ball.
As we mentioned before, New Zealand needed to be the next ones to score, and they have delivered that. That's number 13, Cassandra Angler.
Well done, Cassandra. Great finish there. They've gone and settled the ball in the middle, picked up from half, throwing long. She's watched the ball in flight, picked it up and got the ball down before the Australian defender could come across and make the touch on it.
As I said, Aura Williams definitely involved in that touchdown. She just got the energy about her that I don't think if she was down by 10 it would phase her too much. So she is heavily involved in that touchdown, and I hope they get behind her and she could pull them out of this.
Here come Australia now, just looking to settle things down. Kind of nice defense structure there from New Zealand. Good communication. Ready for their ball. Good hands. Great hands here from 5. Davis.
Ooh, that was a close one.
Very close.
Very close. He called it down. Ball down first. Hard luck, New Zealand. Good try, Australia. Touchdown.
As we look on the Silver Fern replay now, great hands there by number 5, Danielle Davis. Quick plant off the left, checks it back in, and it's a try. Despite Colosi and that protesting with the ref, well, not protesting with the ref, arguing with the ref, try allowed.
So one thing you want from the ref is credibility, and as you see in his position, right in behind the ball, had a perfect view to it. So in the great spot to see the best picture, and we're just on a different angle to him. So good call from the ref, well done.
6-2 to New Zealand now is Turnbull. Turnbull and Tonovic. Here comes in Tonovic to Turnbull. Goes for the dive.
New Zealand's certainly running some good plays. That's a great play. I mean, at the end of the day, it could go either way, whether the girl was onside or she got the ball down. So New Zealand running some good plays.
For a minute, they actually thought she had ghosted through. There's number 9, Tay and Tonovic, but touch called. Here come Australia now with the possession.
What happened on this changer was for the very first one, there wasn't a defender from New Zealand that moved forward, hence Australia just rolling them back from touch 1. We really need people moving forward to attack the ball on 1 and 2.
Australia now seem to have found another gear in the second half.
Gee, that's a good recovery from number 9 making that touch there. She profiled back to her line, put her arm out, and the Australian tried to sneak through, and she got her just on the sleeve there.
Taya and Tonovic plays out of the county's Manukau team. Had a blinder of a final there at Nationals. And looking forward to actually seeing her throughout this test series. Actually, the plethora of players that have turned out here in Rotorua is New Zealand now. Approaching the halfway, looking to inject some fresh legs on. Great play there. It's Olivia O'Neill from New Zealand. Here's order. But no, penalty to Australia. Here come the Aussies, once again up the mids. It's Crow now checks it in. Past the halfway on Australia.
Gee, that's good defence from New Zealand so far.
Watago rounding the troops now as Kearney. Nice play up the middle from Australia as Clifford. Clifford dumps. Great shooting defence here from New Zealand.
Yes.
Good effort on D.
Yes, it is. They're moving forward off the line to make those touches and putting pressure on Australia. That's good defence.
Here come New Zealand now with possession. It's Order Williams. Williams out to Moore.
We'll take that.
Penalty New Zealand.
You see Australia moving forward here. They're generally going in twos and putting pressure on, so they're marking alternate players. 2 players marking 4, and they chase out if the pass is thrown.
New Zealand now finally in Australia's half. Here they come. Despite the scoreline, New Zealand showing a valiant effort here. Is on the right side, the dive. Touch called.
Good play, New Zealand.
It is, Peter. They're running these sets much better. They're having a drop and a pick from half and at least trying to extend the Australians with a decent attack on their line.
Yes, and I like it when they're bringing around sweepers.
Here's Watago now up the middle. Strong run there from Watago. Australia now in New Zealand's half. Ball down.
I think New Zealand have been a little bit tentative at times on the changeover, because when Australia drive the first yard, we need someone going forward to attack that runner.
A bit of a miscommunication there between Rogers and Moore. Here's Moore. New Zealanders. Get the sense there, they just need someone to settle it down here. Sometimes when the score can be 6-2, you can get a little bit flustered and start to go into your shell a little bit. Important for New Zealand to maintain composure now.
That's a really good call from Tim. So down at the scoreline, if the attacking team have the ball outside the 5 metre line, the defending team must move forward until a touch is made. And as you see, as the New Zealand attacker was driving in to set up the next play, all the Australian team retreated early and therefore a penalty was given. So that's a really good call from Tim. That's the hardest area of the field to ref for the referee, and so it was a great call.
Come Australia, Shushi. Here are the Aussies.
This is what they're renowned for. Right across all their grades is their rucking. And as you can see, usually the field positional turnover there.
Sloppy play of the ball there. I believe that was number 15, Kim Susi. New Zealand will have possession, Olivia O'Neill. Nice rush defence from Australia. Not giving an inch to this New Zealand side. Still determined though, as O'Neill plays it. Here comes Moore. Moore and Antonovic working together in cohesion. Here's Lee. It's Williams.
New Zealand looking to set a play up here. Back for a 32 dump.
Williams with possession.
It's harder in women's when you scoop from half and you run to the open side, because it means you've got 3 defenders shutting down, and you need a really good long ball thrower if you're going to throw over the top.
Australia with some fresh set of legs here. You can get a sense. Be looking to lift the intensity as we approach the last 10 minutes of the second match of the Trans-Tasman series. Great hands.
Yeah, great tip on there. I think it might have been Jess McCall tipping it on for the winger to score in the corner.
Let's take a look at the replay. Jeez, even I thought that was going down. As we see there, Davis. Just watch this pass. I believe it was Sargent. Let's just take a look at. There we go. Was it Sargent? Couldn't quite see the number there from Australia. Number 13, McCall. My apologies. Jess McCall tipped it over. Try in the corner. Is New Zealand 7-2 down? Get the sense go back. They want to go back to their structures now. Approaching the line. It's number 12 there. That's touch called there. Touch called there by Australia.
I'd like to see New Zealand move forward and attack their attack here.
Here come Australia. You get the sense Australia now just playing with a bit more freedom. They've got a 5-point buffer here. There's more fresh legs. Come on. That's number 15, Susi, and number 10, Hayley Maddock. Maddock has the ball with Susi working in tandem there. Danielle Davis to Susi, to Maddock.
That's a good pick-up by the referee there, touch and pass.
Of course, Facebook comments, keep them coming in because, man, Pete's loving the attention. Ketty Marsh Solomon. You've got to move the defence on attack. What can NZ do to score? I guess I'm going to leave it to both of our experts in here. You can rock, scissors, paper over who can answer Ketty's question on Facebook.
Yeah, sometimes even just the slight movement of one of the defenders by just bowing someone in, getting a nice drag and drop, and then maybe picking up from half. Once the dummy half goes into the zone, hopefully, if he's not too far out or she's too far out, depending on what happens with our attack players, they've got to be running good lines, and if they're able to do that, they might be able to get a ball to them once they're free into the zone, or even the dummy half can follow the scooper as well.
As New Zealand now have possession. That's it, Antonovic now. Back up to Moore. So it's Turnbull with the ball. It's Turnbull, checks it in.
Yeah, that was a great little follow play by New Zealand. It looked like it could have been part of a sequence. Excellent play. Excellent play. They really got Aussie then.
We see on the replay there from a turn ball to Antonovic. Flicks it up.
On debut to dime ball, and she's in there cleanly.
So it was a block play, and I think it was Antonovic, the one that blocked the Australian player out. Fed to a sweeper, and the dummy half trails inside. Classic follow block play.
Here comes Australia. Penalty awarded to the Aussies, offside. They'll get another set of 6. Perhaps a set move is on the cards here, Pete.
Oh, definitely. They're not running random stuff. It's all set play. I just let's have a look at that. I think they got a mismatch there on numbers for was it a 4-on-3?
Let's have a look at the replay. It almost sort of caught napping on D. You could be right there.
So there's the middle coming in to make that touch now. That gives them a 4-on-3. She pulls a hard corner, step back, and if the open side defence doesn't get across quick enough, we're going to score a touchdown like Australia did then.
I think I'm going to go back to that Facebook comment that was said earlier on. Can't remember who it was, but I believe you're a computer. Never mind Wikipedia when you've got Pete Walters here in the commentary box for this Trans-Tasman series as New Zealand now take it up to the line. Hands. Not quite there as Australia regain possession.
Be good to see our girls come forward on defence here. That's their second touch.
Come Australia now with Mariki Wadago. Takes a touch, is Sue C. Come Australia now, Sue C with the scoop. Nuggety player. It was as simple as 1+1. But unfortunately for Australia, forward pass. New Zealand now have possession. I think the key thing here would be to go back to the drawing board, get some fresh legs on.
If we looked at that mixed game, and we talked about this last 5 minutes or so, when Australia normally get this part right and get more effective than we are, they get the intensity up, so New Zealand has to stay in this game here. They don't want to let the game get away on them. They want to keep their intensity up and keep attacking.
So Australia regather possession. It's Wadago. Wadago up now. Australia really attacking this New Zealand side as Susi gets up to the halfway line.
This was a better defensive set from New Zealand. They attacked from touch 1. Now the 5th touch is going to make it here. If they meant forward to make that, 12 metres out.
Here come Australia. Ball's gone down though. I guess New Zealand can breathe a sigh of relief there. 8-3 through Australia in game number 2. This is the Open Women's. Men still to come. And of course, that game shall get underway after 6:30.
Gee, that's better flow from the Kiwis through the field. That's the 4th touch there. Here's the last one. Looks like they'll be setting something up for a dummy half.
Zorda Williams. No, caught offside, intercept. No, it's a penalty there to New Zealand. Of course, offside.
Let's see what sort of play they look to set up here. Looks like Jess going for a quickie. Fantastic play.
Once again, the computer calls it. Mr. Peter Walters has called that, sure enough, the quickie. And in the corner for New Zealand.
Jess Marr showing her experience there. And it's great to see the experienced players coming forward and leading. These young kids need people to follow, and that's the type of play you look to follow.
That's one of his strengths too, Peter, is that quickie. She picked it right from the start on the defender, gets in low and scores. 8-4 Australia.
Here's Australia on the 5 metre line of New Zealand. Long ball out wide. But New Zealand regain possession. Still hanging in there. Only 4 points in it. With under 4 minutes to go in game 1. Still some quality touch. Still some quality touch left here for this Trans-Tasman series, of course, for each of the men's the men's and women's in the mix, it is best out of 3 as well. So game 1 for the women's as New Zealand look to attack the line.
Pete, just previously we've seen the Aussie throw a long ball and the New Zealand player catch it.
Oh, there it is again. Well
Nice
done,
try.
girls. That's a great setup.
And once again, I think that's Charlotte running her favourite play, which is the follow. I mean, she's renowned for that. She scored some against Australia over the years, so running her signature play, Charlotte Davis.
Fantastic play here. New Zealand not giving up. Of course, looking forward to the next game. Mike, I guess on one of the questions, the comments that have come in, what would you do for the next test to be more competitive, especially on attack?
Oh, look, I think the men will be competitive, if that's what we're talking about, the New Zealand men. There are no debutants for the New Zealand men in this particular series. Most of them played last year up on the Sunshine Coast, so I think they'll be ready to get stuck into the Australians come the first test for the men's. The other side of that is that the Australian men apparently have 6 debutants, so it'd be interesting to see how they adjust to playing at this particular high level of touch.
Another touchdown there for Australia. This time in the corner, just simple hands there. And watch for the cut-out ball. Winger unmarked. Try in the corner there to Australia, and it's number 11, Sam Rogers. The last couple of minutes here at Rotorua International Stadium, New Zealand looking to salvage some pride, but also not giving up and taking away some of the things ahead of the next game as well. As we see there, Davis with possession. Oh, penalty New Zealand. What can New Zealand conjure up here in the last couple of minutes of game 1? Here's Davis. Just looking at setting up another move, another quickie. Hands. Touch called there by Australia. There's New Zealand now. Australia's defence has been rather structured and rather good tonight. Comes Davis. Davis has possession. Should look there for that move that Pete called earlier on tonight. Touch called there by Aussie. Possessions turn off. Last 40 seconds here at Rotorua International Stadium, the Open Women's match. Can Australia close it out? I guess there's no pressure on them as well. They will go up 1-0 with 2 more games to come. Is what a go. Dummy. It's down at the back. Here come Australia again. Can they get one last one to put the nail in the coffin here? Can they get to the 10? Excellent touch there by New Zealand. Turnover ball there. Here come New Zealand now. The last few seconds of this match. And here are the Kiwis now. Second touch. And that'll be it. Game number 2. The first of the Open Women's between Australia and New Zealand. The 2018 Trans-Tasman Test Series. It is Australia victors 9 points to 5. A couple of key moments there for you there, Mike.
I think the Australian yards, that's really their platform for their attack, really. And they've always been strong at it, getting through the field, using 3 or 4 touches to get down there and having 2 or 3 touches to play with for their attack. You just look at the score, they've scored 9. Our girls have scored 5, and I think that's good. That's encouraging for them. But we've probably just got to tighten up our defence a little bit more for the second test.
Pete, for both sides, let's start off with Australia, the visitors, the victors. Who impressed you today?
Well, they impressed me as a team. I mean, the understanding of their game plan and being able to implement it shows you with all the experience they have in there, the familiarity around each other's play. But what Mike said, I have to agree with that. New Zealand scored 5 touchdowns against them. It's not easy to do that against the Australian women's team. So I think that they can take some, encouragement from that and build on to the second game. They certainly don't need to have their heads down. They can come back strong in the second test. I'm proud of the New Zealand girls.
This is definitely one of the best moments of Trans-Tasman rivalry. Not necessarily the game as such, but the camaraderie showed between all of the players out here is best demonstrated. They know they're up for a tough one tomorrow, the Kiwis. Australia will go 1-0 up. Silver linings here in that New Zealand team there, Mike?
I was quite impressed with a couple of the debutants, to be honest, Eddie. I thought young Antanovic from Auckland played well on debut. Davis from Auckland, and also Turnbull, the captain. They were probably the pick for me for the New Zealand girls.
And I guess for New Zealand to bounce back, gentlemen, work on from what you saw tonight. Where do you think New Zealand need to work on?
Well, I think their defence and their yardage, mainly their defence, especially when they go down and they don't score and then they turn the ball over. They need to set quicker and they need to go forward and attack the Australian attack.
And of course, with this match, we are streamed online on Facebook as well. So don't forget to tell your whānau, not just from New Zealand and Aussie, but all around the world. One of the things I would like for you to do is to basically just let us know where you're watching from. And we'll obviously give you a bit of a shout out to Paul Whitinui for watching from Canada. I don't know, do they have like a they don't have like a kia ora. They do have an Indigenous greeting there. I should probably go and find that out and give it to them later. So Paul, thank you so much for watching from Canada. It's going to be an interesting. Next game as the men's game. We'll be back for the 2018 Trans-Tasman Test Series.